Why are Boeing planes crashing? Let's delve into the history of Boeing first. Emerging on the scene in the late 60s, 1969 to be precise, Boeing swiftly made a name for itself in the world of aviation. The launch of the Boeing 747 was a game changer, earning this model an endearing title, the Queen of the Skies. This was more than just a catchy nickname. It was a testament to the revolution Boeing had brought to air travel. The Boeing 747 was a radical departure from the norm, a new development that pushed the boundaries of what was possible. It wasn't just a plane, it was a symbol of confidence and reliability. So deeply ingrained was this trust that a saying arose among frequent flyers: "If it's not Boeing, I'm not going." People were so confident in Boeing's capabilities that they would choose no other aircraft for their journeys. The company's reputation was built on a solid foundation of engineering prowess and innovation. As an engineering firm, Boeing had a knack for creating marvels of the sky, consistently delivering on their promise of safety and comfort. But as we all know, reputations are hard-won and easily lost. And Boeing, once the uncrowned king of the aviation industry, was not exempt from this universal truth. The company that had once stood as a beacon of trust and reliability was heading for a fall. The question that begs to be asked is, what happened? How did a company that once reigned supreme in the aviation industry end up in such a precarious position? What led to the fall from grace of a company that had once been the embodiment of air travel? Boeing was once the uncrowned king of the aviation industry, but what happened? What led to the trust in Boeing eroding, and how did this once great company find itself in the midst of a crisis? We'll continue to unravel this story in the next scene. Boeing was once the uncrowned king of the aviation industry, but what happened? Boeing's fall from grace started back in 1997, at the end of the American and Soviet Cold War. With the cessation of this global conflict, the aviation giant faced a significant dip in its income. You see, Boeing was not just a commercial aircraft manufacturer. It was an engineering firm that conducted contract work for the American military. But as the Cold War ended, so too did these lucrative contracts. The company, fearing the impact on their revenue, made a bold move. They decided to acquire McDonnell Douglas, a fellow aircraft manufacturing company, for a whopping $14 billion. In today's money, that's roughly $50 billion. It was a strategic move to maintain their dominance in the aviation industry and to offset the loss of their military contracts. However, this merger was more than just a business transaction. It marked a significant shift in Boeing's identity. The company that was once dedicated to engineering perfection now began to lean towards a more business-oriented model. Boeing's new focus became pleasing shareholders and maintaining a healthy profit margin. This shift in priorities came at a cost. The company that was once renowned for its meticulous attention to detail and engineering prowess began to cut corners and prioritize speed over quality. The acquisition of McDonnell Douglas did more than just provide a financial buffer for Boeing. It also shifted the balance of power in the aviation industry. Boeing, now the largest player in the field, had essentially crowned itself the uncrowned king of the industry. But as we know, all kingdoms must face challenges, and Boeing's reign was no exception. The seeds of Boeing's decline had been planted, and they would soon sprout into problems that the company could not have anticipated. Boeing's transformation from an engineering firm to a business model began here. From this point forward, the company that was once the epitome of air travel innovation would face a turbulent journey riddled with challenges, missteps, and ultimately, a loss of public trust. While Boeing was grappling with its new business model, a competitor was emerging: Airbus. A European manufacturer, Airbus made its entry into the aviation industry in 2003. This move would significantly alter the industry landscape, impacting Boeing's sales and its reign as the sole ruler of the skies. Airbus was not merely another competitor. It was a company that had carefully studied the demands of the market and designed its aircraft accordingly. It was in 2010 that Airbus launched its A320neo, a model that was a game changer. The A320neo was fuel efficient, a significant factor in an industry where fuel costs can make or break an airline's profits. This aircraft could cover more distance using less fuel, a feature that made it a coveted model among airlines worldwide. The A320neo was a hit. Within a week of its launch in December of 2010, Airbus had sold out. The success of the A320neo was a blow to Boeing, which had been struggling to maintain its market share amidst a changing industry landscape. The entry of Airbus into the market and the success of the A320neo was a clear sign. Boeing's monopoly in the industry was coming to an end. Boeing was no longer the only game in town. The aviation industry had a new player, and it was one that was ready to take on the once undisputed king. Boeing, which had been ruling the industry for many years, was now facing a formidable competitor. The rise of Airbus was a wake-up call for Boeing. It was a reminder that in an industry as dynamic as aviation, being on top does not guarantee staying there. Innovation, adaptability, and understanding the demands of the market are key to survival and growth. As Boeing grappled with these challenges, it was clear that the industry was changing. The era of one company's dominance was coming to an end, and a new era of competition and innovation was beginning. Boeing's monopoly in the industry was coming to an end. In an attempt to reclaim its market share, Boeing launched a new plane in 2011, the 737 MAX. This was Boeing's answer to the highly successful Airbus A320neo. The 737 MAX was a testament to Boeing's determination to regain its footing in the aviation industry. It was a daring move that was initially met with resounding applause. The 737 MAX was fuel-efficient, sleek, and promised to be the future of air travel. But this promising beginning soon took a turn for the worse. In 2018 and 2019, two terrible crashes involving the 737 MAX shook the world. These tragic incidents took hundreds of lives and led to a global questioning of Boeing's safety standards. The 737 MAX, once seen as a symbol of hope for the company, became the embodiment of its downfall. The crashes were not just a blow to Boeing's reputation, but they also brought to light serious issues with the plane's design. In their haste to compete with Airbus, Boeing had installed a new, more fuel-efficient engine on the 737 MAX. But this engine was larger and heavier, which changed the aircraft's aerodynamics, shifting its center of gravity. Boeing, in an attempt to rectify this, introduced a new software, the Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System, or MCAS. But this quick fix only exacerbated the problem. The software was found to be faulty and was implicated in both crashes. The aftermath of these crashes was catastrophic for Boeing. The 737 MAX was grounded worldwide, and the company faced an onslaught of investigations, lawsuits, and a plummeting stock price. The trust that people once had in the Queen of the Skies was shattered. The 737 MAX, instead of saving Boeing, became its biggest nightmare. It was a stark reminder of the dangers of prioritizing competition over safety. The launch of the 737 MAX, which was meant to be Boeing's triumphant return to the top, instead became a symbol of its downfall. The question remains, why did the 737 MAX crash? To answer that, we need to delve into the design choices Boeing made for this aircraft. The 737 MAX was Boeing's response to Airbus's fuel-efficient A320neo. To compete, Boeing decided to fit the 737 MAX with larger, more fuel-efficient engines. Sounds like a reasonable decision, right? Well, not exactly. The problem wasn't the idea of a more fuel-efficient engine. Rather, it was the implementation. These new engines were significantly larger than the ones on the previous models. Rather than redesigning the plane to accommodate these larger engines, Boeing decided to retrofit them onto the existing design. This decision led to a significant shift in the plane's aerodynamics. The larger engines changed the center of gravity of the aircraft, causing it to tilt forward. This tilt made the plane unstable, causing the nose of the aircraft to pitch up during flight. To counteract this, Boeing developed a software called the Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System, or MCAS. This software was designed to automatically adjust the plane's flight controls to prevent the nose from pitching up. However, pilots were largely unaware of this new system and weren't adequately trained to handle it. In some instances, the system activated when it wasn't needed, causing the plane to dive. So the crux of the problem wasn't just one factor, but a series of interconnected issues. The decision to use larger engines, the choice not to redesign the plane, the change in aerodynamics, and the introduction of a new, poorly understood software all played a part in the 737 MAX crashes. Boeing's hurried attempt to compete with Airbus led to a series of unfortunate events that tarnished its reputation. The once trusted and revered company found itself in a spiraling crisis, a stark reminder that cutting corners in pursuit of competition and profits can lead to disastrous consequences.